I'm delighted today to be joined by Anupriya Ramraj, who's the VP of Cloud Services at Unisys. Welcome, Anu. How are you?
Hi, Joe. Great to be here with Analytica, and thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. Could you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure. I'm Vice President of Cloud Solutions with Unisys. It's a company that's been out there from the days of the mainframe, about 150 years almost, and it's great that we've got clients that have been with us for tens of years that started with us in the days of the mainframe. Now we're taking them to cloud on this cloud journey, and my role is to make sure that we enable these cloud journeys, we accelerate them with our clients, we make sure our clients are getting the business outcomes that they're targeting with these cloud journeys, and ensuring also that they are taking security, and security is part of everything we do here at Unisys as well. So.
Fantastic. Oh, that sounds really interesting. Here we can see this is your profile in the Analytica platform. We can see your most engaged network here. So these are the people that you speak to the most online. And here's some of your topics that you speak about. So we can see cloud computing is 61.5% of the conversation. You also talk about digital transformation and Industry 4.0. And then if we look at your audience, so you're most engaged with senior management and C-suite executives and educators in the finance, tech, and charity sectors. We can also dig in a little bit into some of the conversations. So if I go to content here, we can see some of the topics that you've talked about. So Cloud Fort and First Fights COVID and Unisys are some of the keywords that are popping out here. And then we can see some of the hashtags as well. So innovative, Unisys, AI, and automation. And here we can see some of your posts as well. We recently featured you in this report, which is a who's who in hybrid cloud. And these are the top influential voices and brands talking about hybrid cloud. Here we can see that you are on this list here amongst the brand employees and industry practitioners. When you saw this report, did it ring true with you? Did you know a lot of these people? Have you seen them online, or was it quite new?
Truly a honor and privilege to be featured in this report on who is who in hybrid cloud. And yes, I do recognize a lot of the names on this list as people, as companies that we partner with, and sometimes companies that we compete with as well. But definitely recognize the names, quite a few of the names on the list, and we're engaged with them very closely.
So what would you say are the key topics that you're currently focusing on?
Our job at Unisys is to make sure, how do we drive the best business outcomes for clients as part of the cloud transformation? I think the keywords resonated with me because, again, those are things that I'm passionate about, because we see our clients looking to drive some outcomes, including how do they better employ AI in everything that they do, whether it is on the operations side of the house or the business side of the house, to drive the outcomes. We've got a university that's trying to predict graduation rates. We're able to predict incidents before they happen on the operations space. So that's that whole trend around AI, and that's closely tied with the cloud adoption and journey. And then there's the trends around optimization, because businesses need to survive through some tough times over the last year. So there's a huge focus on optimization, and that goes all the way from spend optimization to the total cost of ownership, with looking at app portfolios and rationalizing them. So it's part of the cloud journey as well. And then you've heard all the news around SolarWinds and Qualys and the recent threats we've seen, the cybersecurity threats. So that's at the top of the mind for a lot of our customers. And we serve as trusted advisors, especially with some of the IP differentiation we bring to the table with Stealth and Stealth Identity and our cloud portfolio, to make sure we can address some of those concerns and make sure cloud transformations are secure for clients.
Fantastic. Wow, that sounds really interesting. Okay, and just moving on, I was interested to learn, who do you follow online at the moment in that space? Who's influencing you, that you're, thought leaders that you respect their opinion and you listen to what they say online at the moment?
I think the cloud providers are one angle of the puzzle there. I mean, they're blazing a trail there with with truly expanding the spectrum of services, right? No longer do you see a cloud provider just being an infrastructure as a service provider. So you see them going up the stack with whether it's AI, ML, or blockchain or edge computing. So that's an angle that you always have to make sure that you're keeping that in your rearview mirror. Or yes, so really follow the trends from the cloud providers. And so, for example, Andy Jassy's keynote every year at AWS reInvent is a big thing that a lot of us follow, for just as an example there.
Yeah.
And then there's the angle of what's happening with our customers as well, right? Like depending on which industries we're focused on. So our focus has been on public sector, highly regulated industries. So just following, and healthcare, and just following some of the trends and influences in that space around what are the trends we're seeing with highly regulated industries. It's amazing that even these highly regulated industries are now truly adopting cloud, and you see a lot of public sector in cloud as well. So we keep up with the industry trends around that.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you one other question about COVID. So what impacts have you seen in the tech industry due to COVID?
It's been a tremendous impact. Just teeing off that digital transformation keyword that you noticed in the statistics. I think multiple leaders have gone out and said that it's digital transformation got compressed into months, what used to take years. I would pair it up with cloud adoption. So cloud adoption and digital transformation, which would have taken, say, 3 to 5 years, got all compressed into months because organizations had to deal with remote workers. Imagine public sector. They were not used to dealing with the large numbers of remote workers, just as an example, right? So they had to quickly scramble to get that done. New citizen services that had to be brought on board to serve citizens during COVID. And just dealing with the cybersecurity challenges that increased during COVID as well. Sometimes there's an element of control agility. Sometimes when you move quickly, security can become an afterthought and can get compromised, and there's bad actors out there. So that became a huge focus as well, right? Even with things like the data around testing results, and how do you secure that? And as vaccines are rolled out, how do you secure that information around who's been vaccinated? And there's a whole concept around health passports and digital identity. So a lot of focus, I think, on the cybersecurity side of the house as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and outside of your key topics, so outside of cloud computing, what other key topics interest you generally?
I'm really passionate, and we just had International Women's Day, so I'm really passionate about women in STEM, and you got to get them young. So I'm passionate about girls in STEM, and I've got a 16-year-old daughter. I'm trying to I have her into robotics, and that's a passion of mine that I try to find some time for. And just getting them young and getting more women into STEM fields is a big focus for me.
Fantastic. Well, it's a great cause. Just finally, so say if I was a brand and I wanted to get in touch with you, what would be the best way for me to connect with you?
I would say LinkedIn works well for me.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Anu, for taking the time to talk to us today. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. And I look forward to seeing your posts online soon.
Thank you, Joe. It's been great talking to you today.